Hi, everyone, and welcome to my interview with BJ Epstein, the translator of The Bird Within Me. This book was originally written in Swedish by Sara Lundberg, and it was published by Us Book Island and co-funded by Creative Europe. BJ, thank you so much for joining us today. You've been translating for nearly 20 years now,
Yes.
and this was your first translation for Book Island. How many books have you translated so far?
I've translated, I think, between 8 and 10 nonfiction works and 7 fiction works, plus, of course, lots of short stories, novellas, poems, all menus, all sorts of other things.
Is translating your main job?
No, actually, despite all that translation work, my primary job is as an associate professor of literature and translation at the University of East Anglia in Norwich, where I teach students about literature and about translation. And I also work as a doula. So I help people who are pregnant as they are pregnant and as they give birth. And I'm also a lactation consultant where I help people with breastfeeding and chest feeding once they've had babies.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really interesting combination.
And you're a mother as well.
I've got 2 young daughters. They're 7 and 3, and I try out all my translations on them.
BJ, what does a translator do exactly?
I transfer text from one language to another, but that also means transferring much of the culture. So in my case, from Sweden to the UK or the US, so that the texts are understandable to people in the new culture.
Very interesting. What made you decide to learn Swedish? You're clearly American. I
I am.
can't imagine Swedish being a very popular language in the United States.
No, I grew up in Chicago and studied Latin and Spanish. And then, quite randomly, I met somebody Swedish and ended up moving to Sweden to be with my Swedish partner. And I didn't know a word of Swedish when I moved there. Learned Swedish quite quickly, and I became a translator because somebody said to me, "Oh, English is your native language, and now you know Swedish. Could you translate my website?" And I thought, "Oh, that's going to be easy." So I did that, and then everything followed on from there. I realized I loved it, and it was a hugely challenging and thrilling job to have.
What are the challenges exactly?
Oh, there's so many. I mean, a basic level is grammar. So grammar is different in Swedish and English. Word order can be different. Idioms are different. But on a bigger level, it's about things such as culture. There are some very culturally specific items, whether it's food or the educational system or perspectives on certain issues, and those are different. And for each text you translate, you have to think about how much do you change, how much do you explain, how much do you adapt, how much do you keep the same.
What skills do you need as a translator? Can anyone become a translator?
I think so. I think the main thing is that you have to be good at your target language. So for me, I would say I'm pretty good at English. I enjoy reading and writing in English, and that's what's really important for being a translator. Obviously, you need another language, but my Swedish skills are not as good as my English skills. It's not my native language, but I really love Swedish. I keep studying it and learning more about it. So I think being good at English or whichever language you're translating to, and then enjoying words and enjoying learning languages.
How did you start on your translation of The Bird Within Me?
It started because you had, I think, seen the images in the book, and because of your language skills, you had some idea of what the book was about. You could make sense of some of it, and you asked me to write a reader's report to see if it was something that Book Island would want to publish. And I completely fell for the book, as I think you did as well. It's
Mm,
such a meaningful book that I think can touch everybody in different
mm.
ways, and we can all relate to the story. And you decided then to publish it, and you asked me, did I want to translate it? And I definitely did. And I was
Mhm.
so grateful to have the opportunity.
So did you read the entire book before you started translating? Is that what you usually do?
It depends. So I did in this case, partially because I had done the reader's report and I felt it was important to understand where the story was going. But in some cases, I don't. Sometimes I just start with the very first sentence and I want myself to be surprised as a translator the way a reader would be surprised. And so to not have any preconceived ideas as I'm going through it. Obviously, I then do multiple drafts. So by the time I'm coming to my second draft, I've read the entire text and I've analyzed it. But sometimes starting out, I don't read the whole thing.
And what if you don't like the book?
I can always find something in a text that I can relate to or enjoy, even if it's a single phrase only. I can still connect to a work in some ways. I have said no to quite a bit of translation work over time. And often that's been, I mean, sometimes, of course, it's because I haven't had the time, but often it's because I haven't found something that I could relate to and didn't think I was the right person to translate that
Mm.
text. So I will only say yes to things that I really want to do.
Mhm. Shall we have a look at
Yes.
one of the pages that you've translated in the book?
Yes.
I've created a PDF. Here we go. So it shows the Swedish original text and your translation. I can't speak Swedish, but you obviously can. Could you read the first paragraph? I'd love to. I'd love to
Sure.
listen to you reading it.
Absolutely. And of course, I speak Swedish, excuse me, with an American accent. So, excuse me. När jag blir stor ska jag bli konstnär som Michelangelo. Men det säger jag inte högt. För det är inget riktigt yrke. Inget man blir. Särskilt inte om man är flicka. Det vet jag att pappa tycker.
That's beautiful. I love the sound of Swedish.
It has a lovely sing-song. The Scandinavian languages do. Yeah.
Yes, and the word for girl, flicka.
Flicka. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. So let us have a look at the process. We already let me just show another page or another PDF from the book. So once you translated the book for Book Island, you sent me a first draft, which I read through, and then I sent it to our editor, Vic Miller, who plays a very important role and is invisible in the whole process because her name is not on the title page. It is on the copyright page, but a lot of people don't read that information. So I just want to talk about her role and how we work together. So what was happening here on this page? Do you remember what we were talking about? And what Vic did exactly?
So here we were talking about how the Swedish text included two words that were quite similar, cautiously and carefully, and whether we actually felt that that was necessary in the English translation.
Yes, so Vic will read through your translation and she will offer suggestions or comments, and together we will discuss all the different possibilities. But she will also look at the typography and she will advise us on quotation marks and full stops and commas and where to put them. Like on this page, she felt that the quotation marks were too close to the full stop. And that's where the graphic designer came in. I had to ask him to insert a little bit more space to make it visually more pleasing, I suppose. So this is how we work together. So we always talk to Vic, and we go through multiple editing rounds, probably 6 or 7. But this is probably the most important part, where we bring the words together with the pictures and then read everything again. The visuals and
Yes.
the text.
Because in a picture book, the words and the images often tell two slightly different stories, or sometimes drastically different stories. And it's a matter of trying to make sure that it works in translation as well as in the original. And I have to say that working with you and Vic was delightful, because I think you both really got the story and felt passionate about the story in the same way that I did. Whereas, other publishers and editors, sometimes, it is just a job and they don't necessarily feel anything for the text and don't provide that same level of care and attention. So it was fantastic working with you. Great.
Thank you. When do you know when the translation is finished?
And it's never finished. I think you always see things that you would do differently, or think, I could adjust that a bit more. And it's the same with, writing, because I, write my own books as well. And you just never feel like it's done, because there's no such thing as perfection in the world. So it's a matter of deciding, actually, I'm ready for this to go out, even though it's never finished, but nothing is. It's just a matter of accepting that.
You just have to let go.
You have to let go, like children.
If there's anything you would like to change about The Bird Within Me, what would it be? Let's just have a look at the cover, for instance.
Yes. So
And
nowadays,
I'll also grab the Swedish edition.
Swedish, yeah.
So look, they're slightly different. There's
They
a
are,
bit
yes.
of text on the
Swedish title is longer,
Yes.
absolutely. And I think, we discussed how that does seem to work better in English. But what's missing from the English edition is that my name isn't on the cover. And of course, the translator is a co-creator. And previously, we've not gotten a lot of recognition. The first, I think, maybe 6 or 7 books that I translated, my name is nowhere in them. I didn't realize that it should be in there. I didn't know to ask for it. I didn't know to get a good contract. I didn't understand. But now, of course, I've been doing it for so long, and we understand that translators are a really important part of the process and should be recognized. And so translators are starting to be put on the covers of books and not just on the title page.
Well, I've got really good news for you. We're going to be reprinting The Bird Within Me, because we have no copies left at the moment. And the book has also won a really important, well, it hasn't won an award. It's been shortlisted for a very important award in the UK.
Yes.
The Kate Greenaway Medal, which is an award run by librarians. And it's just really helped with sales. So we need to reprint. And your name
fantastic
will
news.
be on the cover this time.
That's brilliant.
Together
Thank
with
you.
a sticker showing that it's been shortlisted.
It was the only translated book on the long list, and then, of course, on the short list. And that's something that I'm sure you are really proud of, and I'm certainly proud of. So I'm really, really pleased that you have sold out and you're going to be reprinting. And that my name gets on the cover.
Yes. Well, it's definitely something to celebrate. BJ, why do you think this book was selected for that award?
It is, the illustrations are absolutely gorgeous. The Greenaway Medal is focused on illustrations, and the story is about an artist, but also the story is based on the true life of Berta Hansson, who was a Swedish artist. And as I said before, it's a story everybody can relate to. It's about learning to be yourself, to accept yourself, and to live the life that's right for you, regardless of what other people think you should say or do or be. And that's something that we all have to contend with in different ways, regardless of what our life looks like. We all have to learn to accept ourselves and to live the life that's right for us. So we can all relate to this.
Beautiful. BJ, how long did it take you to translate this book?
I translated it while I was on maternity leave with my second child. So I had my baby in the sling on me, breastfeeding or sleeping, and I'd be sitting here at the computer typing. So it took a few months, and I was, doing it while she was napping or cuddling. And then, of course, you've already explained about the process of editing and how that takes additional rounds, additional months. So my initial first draft was just a couple of months.
Wow. you working on any new translations at the moment?
I've got a couple of things going on. I've got my next two picture book translations, which will be out soon, and we're working on the edits right now. And I'm also translating a piece that's going to go into a literary magazine, and that's something that's an adult short story.
Hmm. I'm aware of the time. I would like to ask you one last but important question. Why should we all read more picture books in translation?
Because we can only live our own lives, and we know, who we are, but we don't know what the world beyond our lives looks like. And so reading books from other countries is a chance to learn about other people, other beliefs, other foods, other toys, all sorts of other things, other perspectives, and that broadens us all out. And also, we are so used to othering people. They're from a different country, they're different from us, they shouldn't be here. Whereas picture books remind you that actually we are all the same. We all have similar concerns, we all live in similar ways, really. So if we read books from other countries, we realize that other people are not so distant from us as we might think they are, and it brings us all closer. And I have a very idealistic view that if we all read more books in translation, especially more children's books in translation, we'd have fewer problems in the world.
Oh, thank you, BJ. Thank you so much for making time for us today. I would like to invite everyone watching to also have a look at the other interviews we did with the author and illustrator of the book, and have a look at all our other resources on our channel. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.